Hey guys, today we're going to be repairing this little Yankee screwdriver. It has an issue where it will ratchet fine in one direction, but if I switch it to the middle position, where it should be locked, it still ratchets. And if I move it over to the forward position, which should ratchet the other way, now it free spins. So something's out of whack inside there. To take this apart, we have a single tiny screw. When I take this out, it looks like a wood screw. So this is a little different from the other Yankee screwdrivers I've disassembled in the past. Normally the metal sleeve should just slide down, exposing the internals, but it doesn't want to do that. The handle does want to come off though. So that screw is also securing the handle. You can see two metal pins in the handle here that keep it from rotating. These pins engage with two slots inside the mechanism. Interesting. But the sleeve still doesn't want to come off. I tapped on it a bit with a brass hammer and did get it to move, but just a hair. Then I used a brass punch in the selector slot to get it to move down some more. All this tapping made the bit fall out. It's not supposed to do that. We'll have to tackle that later. Now that the mechanism is sticking out some, I put a hose clamp on it to act as a support for the sleeve. So then I set it over the vise jaws and just kept tapping. I had to tap it almost all the way through until I could remove it by hand. Now we can see our problem. There should be two of these pawls, one on either side. And no, it didn't fall out while I was tapping on it. Someone's been in here before. So it looks like we're going to have to make a new pawl. Now I don't have any spare pawls lying around, but I do have some old saw blades that just happen to be the same thickness. So I'm going to lay this out here and trace the outline. The pawls are the same for either side, so we just need to make an exact duplicate. Then I'll take this over to the grinder and start shaping it. We're just going to do a rough shaping here. I'll do the final shaping by hand with a file. I am dipping the saw blade in water every once in a while. The blade is hardened steel, and I don't want to lose too much of that hardness. I assume the original pawl is made out of some kind of hardened steel. I don't think it matters too much on a low-torque screwdriver like this. Here's our roughed-out shape. I did screw up a little bit on the tip there, but that shouldn't matter. So let's get this thing cut off. And then I'll do the final shaping by hand with a file. Once the shaping is done, we have to put a little bit of a twist in the tip. The original pawl has this slight twist in the tip, so we're going to need to duplicate that. And that's when the camera shut off. All I did was grab it with a pair of pliers and gently twist it. And here is our finished pawl. The new one's on the left and the old one's on the right. I did get a little aggressive filing out the corner down here, but I think it should still be okay. Before we reassemble, I want to clean all the dried grease off of the outside of the mechanism, so we'll be able to slide the sleeve back on easily. It turns out most of this thing is made out of brass, so I'm using the Cubitron fiber bristle wire wheel. I have a full video on this on my channel. It's great for cleaning off softer metals. I think this cleaned up pretty good. There is a keyway in there I noticed that keeps the gear from coming out. I'm going to have to remove that so we can press the gear back onto the bit. After loosening it up a bit with the punch, I was able to grab it with a pair of pliers, and now our gear can come out. The screwdriver bit itself is pretty nasty. I cleaned it up on the wire wheel, but there's still a lot of pitting on it. So I took it over to the band sander to try and remove as much of that pitting as I could and kind of reshape the tip. That's as good as it's going to get. I didn't want to grind too much off of it. I think it looks okay. I think this was just pressed on from the factory. I don't see anything that could retain the gear to the bit. It seems like you need to get it in a certain orientation before it'll stick. To help it hold on better, I'm going to take a center punch and put some divots into the metal. This should give the gear something to bite onto. He's ruining that antique screwdriver. Yeah, no, remember, this thing was junk to begin with. We're making it functional again. I also applied a couple drops of Loctite to it. They make a special Loctite designed for press-fit applications. This isn't it, but hopefully it'll give it a better chance to stay in place. Yeah, it's gripping much better now. To tap it on, I found a socket that's just the right size for the pin to go through, and then I tapped it on with a brass hammer. Hopefully it won't fall out again. Then we can put that key back in. I just tapped this back in with a hammer. Now we can start reassembly. I want to put some oil on the mechanism. I'm just using 3-in-1 oil for this. There is a little bushing in the back that acts as a support for the bit shaft. This will get held forward by the handle when we put that back on. I also oiled up each of the pawls and set them back into place. With this reassembled, we can see how it works. The selector switch biases one pawl or the other. When the pawl on the left is biased, it's lifted up slightly so it doesn't catch on the gear. The pawl on the right is allowed to catch the gear, but since it only catches in one direction, it ratchets. If I bias the pawl on the right, the pawl on the left is now allowed to do the ratcheting. When the selector is in the middle position, both pawls are pushed down, preventing the gear from turning at all. The sleeve also got the fiber bristle wheel treatment. That was also made out of brass. There wasn't a lot of chrome plating left on it, but most of that got removed by the wheel. Now we're ready to slide the sleeve back on, making sure to keep the selector lever down so it goes under the sleeve. This went on much easier than it did coming off. Then we can press the handle back on, making sure to line up the metal pins with the slots in the mechanism. And lastly, that tiny screw that holds everything together. I should have polished up the screw. It looks kind of out of place on there with everything else being cleaned up. So here's our final product and the moment of truth. Yeah, it's ratcheting fine that way. And in the middle position, it's locked, good. And in the back position, it ratchets the other way. I think we got this fixed. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I kind of like the raw brass finish on it. I think it goes good with the wood on the handle. The only thing I don't like about it is that screwdriver tip. Maybe I'll revisit that in the future. It still looks pretty nasty. But this is looking 100% better than it was before, and it's actually functional now. Here's a before and after shot. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more tool restoration videos, as well as a lot of other stuff. See you later. Bye.